In the name of Allah, the most compassionate, the most merciful, my dear friends. Look, every time we bear some sort of loss, pain, trouble, insult, then we think. Then we think and then we think considerably, and maybe we keep thinking for a longer period of time. We think upon it repeatedly, many times. It does happen, dear friends. And if at all, as our today's topic is concerned, that if at all somebody insults us, somebody snubs us, how to deal with it and how to treat it. What can we do out of that? First of all, we need to think that neither it is the first time it has happened to me, and nor it is the last time. It did happen with me. It did happen with me many a times earlier, and it will keep happening with me as long as I am alive. As long as I am alive, it will keep happening with me as well. I cannot get rid of the situations like this one at all. That's very important actually. That's very important actually. It is not the first time. This is not the first time that it has happened to me. I have been insulted. I have been snubbed. I have been facing it. I did face it many a times earlier in my life, and I will face many a time later on in my life as well, dear friends. This is very important. Why? Because we will think that the way I bared it in the past, I do have to bear it today, and I shall have to bear it in the future as well. It cannot be avoided, it cannot be protected from. Number one. Number two. That's also very important point as well. This second most important point is that it happens with everyone else. It happens with everyone else. And the person who has insulted me here, he too had definitely bared it many a times in their previous life. And they too have to face it many a times in the future as well. Many a times in the future as well. Dear friends, it happens with everyone else. It happens with the person who has insulted me now, the person who has snubbed me now, and the people who did that with me in the past. It happens with each and everyone else. The people who will do that with me in the future, they too had bared it in their previous life, and they will keep bearing it in the future life as well. It happens with everyone else, and no one else is exempted from it here. No one else is exempted from it. There is no such exception at all. It happens with everyone else without exception, without exemption. Number two. Number three is very important as well. As far our learning process is concerned, as far it spikes every time we do bear a sort of injury. Here the injury mean psychologically, psychological, emotional, any sort of that. This is, as for being insulted or snubbed is concerned, that is a sort of injury, an emotional one, a psychological one. So we have to think here. We will keep thinking. We will spend a very reasonably good amount of it, thinking upon it, and we will look back upon it dozens and dozens and dozens of times. You know, it's not just the first time. You know, I will I will maybe for the whole of the maybe for a reasonably good period of time, we will think about it, look back upon it, and then a time will arrive when it will lose its efficacy and it will not be able to hurt us anymore at all. When the injury incurred because of this will end, there will be no more of that at all. It will loosen its cutting edge, and we will not be, you know, we will not be feeling hurt anymore at all because of this insult, because of this snub. Dear friends, we need to understand, and automatically we will think that how can I protect myself from a situation like this one in the future? How can I protect myself from a situation like this one in the future? That's very important. Everything else, every point is very important, dear friends here. And what sort of advantage can I take out of it as well? What did I learn out of it? On the one hand, there are two lines to think and to take advantage of. First is, dear friends, that how can I protect myself from a situation like this one in the future? Number one. Number two, how can I, my dear friends, what can I learn? What sort of advantage, what if any sort of new, thing can I learn out of it, which will benefit me for the rest of my life? What did I gain out of it? What can I get out of it? What sort of advantages are there for me in the future? Mean if at all I do decide to learn and to take advantage out of it. So it is not bad at all if at all somebody has hurt us, if at all somebody has snubbed us, if at all somebody has hurt us emotionally, psychologically. I think it should be, although it's an emotional and a psychological, issue, but it can be if at all we mix a lot of rationality in it, if at all we do add the rationality in it, what is going to happen then? I believe that it will become very useful, very beneficial, and we will be able to take certain benefits, advantages out of it. Otherwise, which shouldn't have been our, you know, shouldn't have been ours, dear friends. Look, we usually do not think. Usually we do not think, but we do think. We do think and we do learn. Every time we are hurt, we suffer from pain. Every time we are insulted, we are snubbed. So, if at all a sort of insult or a snub, has caused us to think, to learn, to take certain important lessons out of it, I think that it was a blessing in disguise and it was a boon, not a bane at all. So it should be taken like that. If at all we did not learn a lesson at all out of it, it actually means that we were not feeling the pain, the trouble at all. If we didn't learn a lesson out of it, it actually means that we did not gain any sort of advantage. We didn't, learn from it. But if at all we did feel the pain, the pain, the injury, the trouble, the sort of anxiety, it means that we have learned. We will learn and we will keep learning as long as we are feeling the pain of it. We will keep learning because we will keep thinking, we will keep learning. Once we stop feeling the pain, once we stop feeling the pain of it, pain of this experience, we will stop learning at the same time. So it is always useful, it is always beneficial if at all we have been suffering from some sort of pain and some sort of trouble. So this is, as I earlier said, this is a boon and not a bane at all. Maybe this is a blessing in disguise, and for that reason, an important way to learn, to take advantage of this situation. It is as simple as this one. Thank you.